Tonight, we're going to talk all around seeing beyond the physical. And this is something that I am very passionate about teaching in my angel healer training, but we all have the gift. And so I want to be able to share that with you and kind of leave you with some empowerment tools, right? So again, we're going to talk about the physicality and why we suffer and how that looks. We also are going to talk about family members. We're going to talk about coworkers and spouses. We're going to talk like how it looks when somebody else is going through something so big that you don't know what else to do with it. So in case you can't figure this out, we are talking about grief. But we're going to go a little further with grief, seeing past the physical. For all of my people that are sensitive and healers that want to help others, this is for you. If you are that person that feels other people's pain and want to help them and lean in and are giving all the time and don't understand like why it's not received well, or you don't want to see somebody suffering, you don't know what else to do about it, this show is for you. So it's ginormous. Okay, we're also going to talk about our senses, seeing inward. So again, we're talking about grief. We're going to talk a little bit about our senses. I'm not going to go too heavy on you guys. Like, I'm not going to give you a tutorial. I don't want to bore you either. What I'm really looking for is that connection, so you know that you're not crazy, that you have a tool to work with when you know somebody has pain and somebody is really challenged with that. And it'll empower you. It will really empower you to feel better, to step out into your everyday without feeling like, I feel like I let that person down, or I don't even know what to do to help them. Or you turn to them, you're like, what can I do to help you? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about how a message comes in and sometimes it's not meant for you to deliver. Anybody have that too? Because these are big topics. So good to see all of you. Let's start going, and I'm going to share. And if you feel like this subject is reaching you, if you have a question, if you just want to have a connection to one of your departed loved ones or your angels, you just want to receive some support, definitely this is the show for you, and I want you to call in. Okay, so let me give you a couple scenarios. I teach best by example. I feel like example is really important, right? How do we help another person? So we get into this situation and we can feel their pain. We can feel their suffering. And not everybody has this experience, but for your sensitive souls, you know what I'm talking about. You get it on the outside of your body, or you get it on the inside of your body. So for instance, I have a dear friend who, she's not doing well. She's really having a hard time with adjusting with her treatments, her cancer treatments. And what is it that we want to do? We want to support someone. We don't want to see them go through that. We want to take it from them, right? And here's the big cue in that we can't. It's too much. We can't. It's not our job to take that. And then we feel guilty. Get it? You feel guilty that someone else is suffering around you and there's like nothing you can do. You feel like your hands are tied. You get it? Like, tell me what you feel like when you have this around you. For me, when I know that I can serve someone, I just have to sit with it and I have to ask, is this meant for me to do more than what I'm doing? Is it meant for me to go beyond just picking up the phone and calling or seeing that prayer? I had to learn the hard way. And what I mean by that is, just because you have a gift for healing and channeling love doesn't mean you're meant to support and serve everyone or help other people. It's so incredible, like what we feel like when we are around someone that's suffering, and we want to alleviate that. And this goes true for your children. And I can give you this again, this example. Here's my daughter, right? When she calls me back in August last year, and my husband and I were not home. We were traveling. It was our 35th wedding anniversary last August. And as I'm sitting there, we had just had a beautiful dinner, I get the phone call from my daughter. It's late. She's like 9:30. and it's hysteria. And I will never forget what it sounds like. We move into the cycle, like what actually is wrong. When she shared the information about what was happening in her life, and I'm away from her and I can't fix it. So I had to make some plans, and I felt so freaking ass guilty. You get me? Like I felt so dang guilty for being away and not being here when she's an adult. She's got 3 kids of her own, but I, as her mom, felt like I had let her down. And so, of course, when I finally did get home, I thought, well, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I get this information? I did. I went around in a self-loathing and a kind of a depression. I'm not going to lie. I really felt like I could have spared her some pain. But the truth of the matter is that I couldn't do that. It wasn't meant for me to see it. God didn't want me to know all of that in order for them to learn some lessons, to heal their own stuff, and for me to learn too that I'm not the save all. Like they have to grow up and do their thing. But as a parent, nobody wants to have their child suffer. Nobody wants to see their kids come up with something so painful and life altering as a divorce and a cheating spouse. Nobody wants to see that for your children or your grandchildren, right? And so what do you do with that? You have to do a lot of love. And this is the same thing that you have to do. Well, I'm not telling you what to do, but what I have found, even for the people that I know that aren't well, is to lean into love. Like we're not supposed to get all of the information for them. And it's one of the things I teach really importantly in my angel healer training. Hi, this is Jeannie. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Jeannie. This is Shanda.
Hi, Shanda. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing okay. My mom and dad and my sister around. I have a message.
Your mom and dad are always around you, my love. Every time you call in, they're like standing right there with you. And I feel like, again, what they're showing me tonight is almost like applauding you because you have taken some other steps, they said, in terms of showing up for yourself. And they're saying that you're being very brave.
Yeah.
And which is something they want you to really be proud of, because it's like, again, I don't feel like it's something that's easy for you. And they don't want you to take it lightly. They're saying like, yes.
Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard for me, but I have to do it in order to take care of myself,
I know, sweetheart. And you are so loved. I feel like they're just surrounding you with so much support of what they can do. And I just, again, like they just stand like right by your side. They just show me like upfront and present, not like they were when they were alive, but just in this amazing way that they can do now.
And I feel them all the time.
Well, and they're with you, babe. I know that's not, doesn't make up for the physical, but let's stay tuned because we're going to talk about seeing beyond the physical, to talk about what this looks like about connecting with our loved ones so that you can feel them. Okay. Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay.
Thank you, love. Have a beautiful night. Hi, this is Jeannie. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Jeannie. It's Nicole. How are you?
Good, Nicole. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I was just calling to see if my grandmother is around yet. She passed away 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks now. And she was kind of suffering at the end. And I'm just wondering if she's around
jumping
or
in
if she has any messages.
like super fast, Nicole, and super loud. And she's like, I'm here. But her voice is really strong and she's very vibrant. She's showing me that she's wearing purple and she's got jewelry. She's got all her jewelry. She's like, I'm layering up with my jewelry. I don't know if you made her jewelry, but she's showing me like handmade pieces. Do
Mm-hmm.
you understand that?
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm looking at a picture of her right now, and she has a purple dress on.
So funny. So it's like she's just so vibrant, and there is literally no suffering. She's like, no suffering. I'm like, she's like, look at my arms, look at my body. She's like, I can move. I do feel like she was entrapped in her physical being, and she doesn't have that now.
Good.
And
Okay.
she's literally like all smiles and glowing, and she's just leaning in and like, just please tell her to smile. Please tell my girl smile.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So I don't know why you're supposed to smile, and find the reason to, okay?
Okay.
I know.
will. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that brings you some peace. And that's what she's like, just some peace, just some peace of mind. She said, just some peace.
Yes, that definitely does help. I appreciate it.
Yes. And I love, like, she's making me sit up straight. She's like, look, this meditation and being still. She had no idea, she said, in life, like, this is so good. And she's just taking it all in. And she's showing me this scene where she is in heaven, which is just filled with all of these. There's like poppies, and it kind of reminds me of like a Wizard of Oz, where there's a field of poppies, like it's all green and beautiful, and there's these red poppies, and then there's this air and clouds, and she's just showing me this magic.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, my lovely. I hope that serves you.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Hi, this is Jeannie. Who am I speaking with?
This is Wendy. Jeannie, how are you?
I'm good, Wendy. How are you?
Doing okay.
Yes. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New York.
Oh, thank you. How can I serve you tonight?
I lost both my mom and dad 6 weeks apart, about 6 months ago, and I just didn't know if they had any messages for me. From time to time, I hold a heavy grief over their loss, so
Yeah, I
needed some peace with that.
I just feel like that. I feel like for you, it's just also, I get like a little bit of pressure on your chest. Like you really carry the weight of everything on you. I want to make sure that you are expressing that grief and able to move a little bit, because that's what they're making me feel right away. You understand that?
Yes.
I don't know. And they're making me like, what are you carrying, like, that you can put down, that you don't have to? I just feel like they're just saying it's worry, it's worry, it's worry, it's worry. Everything is worry.
Oh,
So they
got
do
that
come,
right.
yep, they do come through right away. And they do stand side by side, and I get a little bit of distance. So I don't know if they had a little struggle in their marriage for a little bit, but then came back together, because that's how they're making me feel. But they're showing me like they see eye to eye now. And I don't feel like it was bad. I just feel like more like,
Yeah.
typical. Yeah, that's kind of what they show me, like just typical, like
Yeah.
not seeing eye to eye, but it's all worked out, and it's all like, your dad is really kind of funny. He's like throwing in some slingers here. He's like, it never even mattered. I had no idea it didn't matter, but it didn't matter. And your mom is like, I told you. And that's kind of how they're talking. I do feel like, I'm so sorry that they had to go together. That's what he's saying. Like, we didn't prepare anybody. We didn't, like, he's like, but now that we're here together, we're happy to be together. Like, it couldn't be better for them.
Yeah.
But leaving everybody was like, and I do feel like one of your parents was more tragic, their passing, and you were with your mom when she passed.
All of us siblings were right by their side when they both passed. Yeah.
Was your dad a little bit more tragic? And I don't know why he's kind of showing me like
Dad,
Dramatic.
Dad had Lewy body's dementia. They gave him 2 to
Okay.
6 years, and he barely made it 2 years. So his death came quicker than Mom's.
Okay.
Mom had Alzheimer's for 10 years, but she
Mhm.
really just couldn't live without him. They were married 60 years, high school sweethearts, inseparable. They really relied on each other. So,
Yeah.
in the end, she just wasn't going to bear to live without him.
That's how I feel. I felt like I do feel like it was like, even though they couldn't articulate, like it had to be that way. And
Yes.
that's what your
Yep.
dad is saying about the tragic. And I do feel like a little entrapment. Both of them show me like this inability of really having the ability to move about life in many different forms, even with like clear thoughts, you know.
In the end, they both were like that. Absolutely. That explains it. Yeah. You
And
would see how they were in the end.
and they're saying that the decisions that you made were great. Please
Oh, good. Good.
please don't second guess. Please, your mom, please. She's like, no, don't second guess. Don't worry about a thing. What you did for me was like a miracle. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and they were very thankful. I mean, even when they still could speak right before the end, they were very appreciative. That we all did the best we could in the end, right by their side.
Hmm. Is there a Josh? They keep saying like a Josh. Are they joshing like a word, or is there a Josh in the family?
There's not a Josh, no.
Okay, so that's it's like a
But I mean,
slang
not that
word.
there can't be, but
Because like, are you joshing me? Like I'm getting a Josh, and I don't
oh,
norm. Yeah, I don't normally get names, so that's why I'm like, wait, is this a Josh? I second guess myself. Um, yeah, because I feel like your dad's like a jokester. I feel like he's super dry sense of humor. You know what I mean?
yeah, he could make some funnies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's making me feel like. But they're feeling really good, and they're really more concerned with like you putting some of the worry down and being able to move on. And I don't necessarily feel like it's just from their passing. I do feel like there's some other personal stuff in your life as well.
Yeah, I could see them seeing that, yeah.
Okay, so just know that they're with you, and I hope this serves you, love.
Yes, thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome, Wendy. Have a beautiful night, love.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Hi, this is Jeannie. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Jeannie. It's Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you tonight?
I'm okay. Thanks. I just
Good. How can
I just wanted to call you and tell you that like this past week and this past weekend, because I stood back and didn't micromanage or tried to micromanage, God
Mhm.
just took over and things worked out. And it wasn't me. So
Hallelujah.
no. Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's
like,
just
was it hard
yeah,
or did it feel so good? Did
absolutely.
it feel,
It did
that's empowerment.
it felt so good.
That's
It felt so
pure
good
empowerment
because
right there.
every morning, like I go outside and it's so peaceful. And if my neighbors saw me or heard me, they think I was crazy. But that's, I just, that's where my peace is. And I look up to the sky and I talk, I talk to God and I talk to my parents, of course, all day. Like I said, if anybody heard me, they would think I was crazy. But this is just what gets me through. So there was a couple of things and that were going on, but I didn't. It just I let it go. I just lifted it up. I lift my anxieties, my worries, my fears, um, and it worked out without me getting involved. So I just
I'm
needed to
so
share that with you, and thank you.
overjoyed that you put it into practice and like immediately and saw a benefit from it. And as hard as it is, I hope that you still just keep turning back to it. You'll get easier each time, love.
Absolutely. If I don't, like every day, I have to, and it gets confusing. Like I a lot of what you say and, what you share. And it just helps tremendously. And
Your dad is saying,
sometimes
your
I
dad's
forget.
your dad is popping in. He's like, he's like, this is monumental, he said, because you come from a long line, he says, of dramatic uh drama people. Like he's just like, and his voice is all like raspy.
Oh, I talk to them. I keep them on my refrigerator, and I talk to them every day. I have a little an angel stone that my mother had in her hand when she passed away, and I was, I was able to hold her hand when she passed, and so I've had the angel stone, for many years, and I keep it in my pocket every day. And, it's all these little things. So, when I forget some things, I go back and I listen to you and everything you share. So, but it's a big thing for me to not, the couple of things that were going on this past weekend and last week, a couple of things that it was such a big thing for me not to try and step in and fix the outcome of what it would have been. And, I'm not going to lie, I had some fears and anxiety, but I lifted them up and it turned out fine, it just, without me.
Good. I'm so glad, love.
So, yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, love.
Good night, Jeannie. Thanks.
I love like hearing that, like first that you put something into practice and you made it your own and you found a benefit from it. So tonight we were talking all about like seeing beyond the physical. And this is really interesting because it ties into a little bit of last week, what we talked about. So when I say seeing, it's not always with our eyes, it's with our knowing, it's with our intuition, right? And when we have that going on, when we're in alignment with our intuition, when we slow down and we take a breather and we don't insert ourselves, like Cheryl was just saying, we can go past what's actually physically happening with the people around us. So same to be true with, like I shared with my daughter or my friend who has the illness, anything that we have going on, if we remove ourselves for just a hot second and we drop inwards, and this is the key right here, we're going to get out of our head and come into our heart. And we're going to sit here for just a minute and we're going to kind of marinate in a prayer and ask God clearly, like, show me what I need to see. Allow me to see past the pain or the suffering so I can get to what you will have me do. So I can be empowered and be grace and be love and show up and serve. Like that's what we really want. Putting our hand in and just trying to make things better for another person, it doesn't work. That's what creates drama, because everybody needs to come to their own healing on their own time. So again, like just because you receive a message doesn't mean it's going to sit with that person and absorb in right away. It may take time and it might not be ready for them. And that is the job of a good healer, is to lean into what God will have us do. It's to not take it on as an egoic thing and have it explode. So, well, I've got to deliver this and I have this and I'm going to make their life better. That energy is all around the forcing and the trying, and that will never serve another soul. It won't serve yours either. So when we want to see people shine, especially our children, not pressing that easy button, but taking a step back and just pausing. Let's see what they have going on. Don't fix. Ask them, like, what do you think you should do? Put that back onto them. Teach them how to pray. Teach them how to connect with their own spirit or with their own intuition so they can trust themselves. This is amazing, right? Super, super powerful, and it will teach them to be empowered, right? To trust their own guidance. We all have it. We don't all use it. Do you use your intuition and your guidance to its purest potential, to the fullest potential? Do you trust it? I want to hear, do you trust your inner guidance? Do you trust hearing the voice of God within? Or are you so wrapped up in fear that it has you? I want to share this beautiful prayer with you tonight, because it's really powerful. And it's a prayer that really diminishes fear immediately. It's actually a Bible verse. I say it's a prayer because I just feel like I'm speaking directly to God. And when something comes into your being and you aren't sure what to do, or when fear is taking you away from your truth and your power, this is the prayer for you. It's Isaiah 41:10 in the Bible, in case you need to look it up. So do not fear, I am with you. Do not be dismayed, I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This prayer alone, this passage alone, reminds us that we don't do this on our own. That whatever causes us pain and suffering, don't be dismayed. Don't let that worry you. Wendy, who called in, take those worries, turn them right over. Don't be dismayed. Don't have your energy be sucked away by that fear, right? So seeing inward. This is a cool concept, you guys. If this intrigues you, if you want to know more about seeing inward, about trusting your gifts, about really opening them, you should definitely come to my Angel Healer training, because this is the space where I can go in big and really help people to unlock their pure potential, to open their gifts in a God-based manner that's safe, that is love-based, and that will have you really serving on a high level. I am going to say this to you guys, because I know how many sensitive people are out there right now and are really being challenged with the energy. And we've talked a lot about this recently, but again, the stakes are very high right now, because all that is based in love is rising, and all that has been based in fear is starting to crumble and diminish. But fear is not going to let go easily. And so when you have a gift and you are having the ability of seeing past the suffering, seeing past the pain, to know what you're supposed to do or where your energy is actually needed, when you're getting that message, when you are feeling guided, fear is going to want to screw you up. It's going to want to trick you into denying, into not understanding, into feeling less than, into having you feel other things instead of empowered, instead of protected in Godlight. So it is the duty and the job for that healer, that energy sensitive person that you guys are, to trust and lean in fully to God's embrace, to lean in with your whole heart and to trust that God has you, right? So turn to that. I find writing these passages in my journal really, really helpful. So again, look up Isaiah 41:10, write it in your journal, have it near your bed, reread it, put it on a sticky note, and just remember it. Pulling it into our heart, pulling into a remembrance will help us to feel really supported. So seeing inward isn't always in the physical world. Seeing beyond the energy. Who understands what I'm talking about that? Listening inward for it to come forward, listening and paying attention to all of our senses, because spirit will help connect the dots when we are receiving a message, when we're receiving guidance as well. The message may not be words. It may be a feeling. It may be a sense. It may be a sound. It may be a song, right? It can be a remembrance. So pay attention. It doesn't have to be actual words. Spirit's not going to call you up and be like, oh my gosh. And then you have to just get the book out and you got to do boom, boom, boom. It's not going to be that easy, guys. We have chosen to come into the physical world to have a very physical experience. That does not mean that we cannot use our gifts that we've been gifted to go beyond and to take in all this love, to absorb as much unconditional love through our senses and through this beautiful connection. Remember to pause when you receive it. Pause and ask, is this meant for that soul? Are they ready for it? Because just because it came to you, it might not be for them yet. They might not be ready. It may be something for you, even if it's somebody's departed loved one, even if it seems like it's for them. If you pause, you will find that answer. The more you communicate with God, your angels, and your guides, the easier it is to understand your yes, share this, or your no, keep this. Remember, here's a big one. We cannot take somebody's pain from them. You cannot take somebody's suffering. It's not your job. As much as you can say over and over, oh, I wish I could take it from you. This is not okay. It diminishes their pain. It diminishes their suffering. It doesn't validate them. We all have a journey to go through. And so we want to empower people. We want to lift them up. The easiest way to do that is to lean in and listen, to sit still and let them share, to not relate yourself or your pain to what they are going through. Rather, let them share, hold them in a sacred space. Take a minute to say something as simple as, I can imagine that must be so difficult. I'm going to hold you in my prayers. Ask them if they need your support or would like your support. Sometimes people are great at saying no, 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 and we might try to overstep that boundary. You put up a boundary, you have it there for a reason. If you say no and people don't bring you that food, I mean, you really want it, well, then maybe you should lower that boundary and say, I really would love some help. But respect people's boundaries is what I'm saying here. Okay. Again, this is their journey, not ours. This is great. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I did it. I covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight, out of order, of course, because that's dyslexic Jeannie for you, but it's all right because it comes out in the order that it needs to, right? So seeing beyond the physical, trusting your senses, and leaning into love before you jump in to really help someone, because helping is not what we really want to do. We really want to serve. I say it over and over again, and I say it because it's what I was taught. When I would lean in to help other people, sometimes I would leave them not in the best place. So my goal now is to leave people better than what I found them, by serving. And if that means not saying anything and walking away and saying a prayer, opening the Bible, finding something that I can send them, then that's what I will do. Leave it be. Let it go. Hard to do. And we will wrap it up. We'll wrap up this session of Angels Don't Lie, which such a beautiful show. It's a beautiful way to commune with spirit, to share God's love with each other, to hold each other in a sacred place, right? Well, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you all have a blessed evening. And please, if you haven't checked out the Angel Healer training, head on over to my website, jeanniestreet.com. It's right on the top bar. It'll say Angel Healer Program. Check it out, read about it, and see if it's for you. Feel it in your body. See beyond the words. Ask, what is possible for me? What do you have in store for me, God? What will you have me do with all that I am? All right, guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening. God bless you guys. And you know what I know, because angels don't lie. All right, now I'm done. God bless you guys.
Truth when she smiles.